Good evening. Welcome to Cape Charles Town Council regular meetings, September 20th, 2018. Have a roll call.
Roll call, Mr. President.
Holloway present.
Dennis present.
Adam present.
Rosen present.
Let me know that you have a quorum. We'll stand for a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have no recognition of prisoners, presentations this evening. Move on to public comments.
Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, welcome.
Thank you. I'm Hank Mayer and I live on Butler's Bluff Drive in Cape Charles. Wanted to make some comments this evening about raft. I don't believe that Cape Charles is doing enough to address the increased flooding of streets in the low-lying historic district, the lack of close-by emergency shelter space that we found when we were threatened by evacuation by a hurricane, and the lack of latitude in the county that is able to fight fire to rescue people from buildings that are greater than 2 stories high. Each and all of these raise the issue of long-term resilience of our community. Missing from the staff report on the raft project is mention of an ad hoc group of interested citizens from diverse areas that came together back in April as the raft project was winding down. We began discussing some of these issues and agreed on the need for advice and direction on where we should start. I arranged for Mike Robinson and Brian Joyner, who are engineers from Nichols, to take a short tour of town and meet with us in mid-May. They suggested that we draft a resilience plan so we could identify all of the issues, resources that are available to us, and from that develop short and long-term priorities. Larry drafted an initial plan outline. The following day we began to expand and refine it over the next few months. It was shared with our university raft and Moffitt Nichols friends. I've given Olivia a copy of the recent draft, which is now longer than 3 pages. It's an outline of which should go into a plan. We felt that one of our first priorities was to gather information. Dave Fauber contacted VDOT to see if they had the as-built plans for the stormwater system. He didn't, but he was able to find good maps of the town's water system, which also contained good information on where the wastewater, or the stormwater system is located. Mike and Brian suggested we look at FEMA or other grants to fund engineering studies and planning that would be needed before the town could consider any capital expenditures, any capital improvements in 2019 or later. A large FEMA pre-disaster grant is now available for that purpose, but Cape Charles will need to apply through the state's Office of Emergency Management. The application period is October 1st, which is 2 weeks away. Through January 1st, the funding is not available until December 30th, 2019, so it's about a 15-month process to get these funds. I don't believe that any of the town's boards, committees, or staff is currently responsible or structured for resilience planning as we scoped it. And any implementation will include Public Works, work with VDOT, work with DEQ. The ad hoc group may be an unusual structure, but I think that was making progress. It included representatives from multiple areas of responsibility and expertise, as well as private citizens like myself. I ask you to give it authority to continue this needed work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Curtis Smith.
Good evening, everybody. Curtis Smith, Director of Planning for the Accomack and Northampton Planning District Commission. Here tonight to present a grant opportunity for a multi-use pedestrian trail along the Stone Road corridor. I'm here to speak in the public participation portion of this meeting, as it is a somewhat time-sensitive matter that for the town to take into consideration as an applicant and potential owner of the trail. I'm going to cover quickly three things. One, give information about the grant opportunity itself. Second, present what we believe to be a competitive project idea that has been in our regional plans and a number of local plans for many years. And third, to offer our help if the town should want help to carry this out, or our assistance would be available. So first, the grant opportunity is a relatively new opportunity that's not extremely well known. It is called the Open Container Fund, and essentially this is a safety enhancement grant program that's it starts as federal money that is allocated down through the Virginia Department of Transportation and put through a competitive grant proposal process just on the Commonwealth level. This would fund standalone trails with the intent to get people out of harm's way along busy corridors. It's tied, as I said, to open container, think drunk driving. That's the main impetus of this program. This is what we believe to be a great grant opportunity because there is 100% grant funded with no local match requirement. So I repeat, no local match requirement. Projects could be funded up to $5 million of grant money. And the beautiful thing about it is it could cover all phases of construction from concept through construction. So including preliminary engineering work and design work there, final engineering, environmental, and finally construction. All of this could be funded under one grant contract and over a 3 to 4 year max period. Given that you can take it from concept through construction, it gives you an opportunity to design this with stakeholder input. Most importantly, the Canoni ANTDC Transportation District Commission, Northampton County, VDOT, and others. There is a November 1st deadline for this application, which is why I'm here tonight, as I know you have two meetings before the grant, two additional meetings before the grant deadline. Standalone trails have been funded in rural areas using this money in the, I believe, 2 to maybe 3 years it's been in existence. The Central Shenandoah Valley has successfully used this money for trail construction. There's no trailhead needed or anything. You can simply connect to two destinations. As far as the project idea that we would like to propose, as many of you may know, we just completed working at the request of Northampton County to conduct a feasibility study for the preliminary design of the northern sections of what is called the Southern Tip Trail, which ultimately the concept is to connect Cape Charles, get it across the highway and down to the National Wildlife Refuge, Cape Peak State Park, etc. That was just completed. It included what is now called Phase 4, which was bringing a standalone trail essentially from Parsons Circle Road along the Stone Road corridor into the Cape Charles Harbor. We have preliminary designs for that. When stepping back and thinking about this grant opportunity, I didn't necessarily see that as a perfect fit for the safety enhancement component, whereas we're only addressing, if we applied for just that Phase 4 as it's currently designed, we would only be addressing portions of the Stone Road corridor and not the comprehensive safety enhancements that are needed for that entire stretch outwards to Route 13. So what we are thinking about, since there isn't ample money available, would be to take the money to use it to construct what is Phase 4, Harbor, Parsons Circle, and beyond. Get it to Route 13 with a crossing at the light, and then a standalone trail connecting to Food Line. So the general concept, Food Line to Harbor, Historic District, however you all design it, because again, it's not, nothing set in stone. That's just the general idea of making that trip safer for pedestrians. We feel that that also complements other plans and designs. Like I mentioned, it's in our regional bike trail. It's been there for 15 years. You may be aware that Northampton County made a proposal to add pedestrian shoulders to Business 13 going into Sheridan. That was to get funded. We could accomplish a connection between Sheridan, a bikeable, safe, walkable, safe connection between Sheridan and Cape Charles. And as I mentioned, the PDC is here to help should you want to ask us at some juncture. So we've done this work in the past. We have the capacity to administer these grants and potentially the construction if we were awarded.
I would ask one question. It sounds so good, you can't pass it up. How much money do you want from us?
If you were to request it, it would need to be a written letter to our commission. Typically, if there's a locality in the county, if there's a project in the locality in the county that are supportive of it, it's typically approved by the PDC. We typically ask for funds to cover the time it takes to prepare and submit the grant application. We typically do that as a reimbursement, and we only ask the locality to provide about half. Looking at this grant application, I would estimate that cost to Cape Charles in the neighborhood of $1,000 to $2,000, depending on how much time it actually takes us. So there will be a number of meetings with localities and other entities to get things straight.
I'd like to see council suggest that you see the town manager of this and move forward.
Questions for Mr. Smith? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
First, the only two that have signed up, but I do have a letter that was submitted in writing from Karen Jolly Davis. It says, I don't believe that Cape Charles is doing enough to address the increased flooding of streets in the low-lying historic district. The lack of close-by emergency shelter space when we are threatened with evacuation by a hurricane or strong nor'easter, and the lack of a ladder truck anywhere in the county that's able to fight fires and rescue people from buildings greater than 2 stories.
Excuse me, that's mine.
I'm sorry. That sounded familiar. Okay, sorry about that. This one's from Karen Dolligan. It says, Hurricanes Florence and Harvey show us what the future holds for coastal communities. Surge and extreme rain events that endanger our homes, our businesses, and our lives. Protecting our citizens and our assets from destructive storms should be one of the town's top priorities. Cape Charles already has long-standing drainage problems. Dumping more water into an inadequate system will eventually result in disaster. And if investors believe that our town is endangered, they won't locate here. Our real estate values would plummet and the future of the town grow dark. We need a detailed resilience plan, which will cost money. We need to upgrade the drainage system, which will cost money. But many resilience measures can be written into our comprehensive plan and zoning ordinance, which won't cost anything except the political will to protect us from flooding. And therein lies the real difficulty. All of these proposed efforts to protect Cape Charles are in the hands of the town council. We can apply for grants, but we need matching funds that the council must budget. Our planning commission can recommend zoning changes that protect the town, but the council must approve them. Our fate will be determined by the political will of our elected officials. Coastal resilience is a public safety issue. Hesitation, controversy, or indifference are luxuries we cannot afford. I urge the council to fully support efforts to protect Cape Charles from disastrous flooding because the rain is coming.
Thank you, Libby. I've got one announcement. For me, my son's in boot camp. I'm expecting a call from him in a minute. If I get up and leave, Vice Mayor Bynum will take over this week. Vice Mayor Bynum, I swear, Bennett. Moving on to the consent agenda, I would ask council that we move the approval of the agenda format up to 4A. so I want to add something to the agenda in reference to Mr. Smith's proposal tonight, if that's possible.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? I would like to add approval of the agenda format. I would like to add to authorize the town manager to send a letter of support to the Acton Planning District Commission in this proposal that was presented to us tonight. Very glad that. The 7D.
You can add that 7D.
7D.
It is.
Have a motion?
Do we need a motion? So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the rest of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 6, unfinished business. A, Cape Charles Community Trail Phase 3 update. Frank?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Fair work. Okay, so we have two updates on two major projects this evening. First of which is Phase 3 of the community trail. This is sort of a companion piece to what you just heard. This is a set-aside program for transportation alternatives, and the federal government picks up 80% of this, and we pick up 20%. Our trail plan is designed eventually to connect to the trail that the NPDC is pursuing from the southern tip. We are at the 90% design stage for Phase 3, and just to refresh you, Phase 3 is the block of Peach Street between Randolph and Mason Avenue, and we connect to the south side of Mason Avenue, so we have a connection to the plaza. And then it also includes the south entrance or exit to the park, where we would clean that up and put in some hardened surface, but still pervious surface for parking and that type of thing. VDOT has had the 90% design plans now since the end of May. 123 days.
Yeah. Calculated. As I said in the report, the only questions we've got back from them so far is on some slight changes to the cost estimate. We are a little disadvantaged on this locally administered program side because they have only one project manager in the Hampton Roads District, and she's been out on medical leave now for 3 or 4 weeks. So I'm going to attempt tomorrow to go up the line at VDOT Hampton Roads to see if I can find somebody there that can get us any comments back. And it may be that they have no comments, that they've accepted the changes we made since we submitted the 60% design plans. So that's where we are. Unfortunately, we were hoping that we would get clearance from VDOT several weeks ago to go to the 100% phase and put together the bidding documents, and that's not the case, so we're a little bit behind schedule. Questions?
Well, just right now, is it impacting what we had projected for budgets for this year?
No, it's not impacting the budget. The 90% design cost estimate is within our budget estimate.
Okay.
So we're okay there. I wouldn't expect it to grow a lot. One of the, we have a little headroom in the grant amount that's available. I think, though, as we still have not closed out Phase 2 contract, we're still, that's been a complete, it's been a headache.
And we may have to use a little bit of the allocation for phase 3 to close that out, but I think we'll still be okay.
But as far as timing goes, we, you know.
That's the biggest risk. Yeah, that's the biggest risk. And if we don't get VDOT clearance fairly soon, I think it will put at risk start of construction. We obviously have to get the start of it done before the next summer season rolls along, and it's getting a little tight right now. That's going to be a popular street. It is, and it's going to be a huge improvement. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I expect from the time standpoint next season.
The timing is perfect. And of course, it's a much easier project than phase 2. Phase 2, we did extensive stormwater system improvements, and that's helped a little bit for the issue of flooding in that area. It's taken some of the runoff out of that intersection of Plum and Madison and sent it the other way. But it was a much more complicated project than this was. This will be. It's just surface improvements.
Do you feel, coming through the mayor, we should elevate our concerns about VDOT's lack of attention to this?
If need be.
I would ask that Bob continue on and just provide feedback to the town manager and yourself as far as what the reaction you got. And
Yeah, I think if we need to try to speed it up a little bit. I mean, because we're definitely, I feel, it would be a mess if we work that weekend and roads tore up. Then they've done that.
They've done that with the masonry enforcement project a lot of work.
You've done a spectacular job on the trail. You really have done a spectacular job on the trail. And if we let you do it, it will come to completion.
Well,
You have tremendous faith.
no pressure.
I guess Paul was saying though, is there anything you need from us to help?
No, not at this point. I've got to follow VDOT's hierarchy a little bit, and then, let me see what I get, and if we get nothing, then I'll talk to Larry.
yeah, that's all right.
And then maybe, a letter from the mayor would be useful.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions on the trail? Mr. Patrick, I believe you're up next for, I believe, Northern Offshore Breakwater.
Northern offshore, I'm starting to call it the northern offshore breakwater instead of the fourth offshore breakwater, because we know where it's going to be. So you recall that council authorized a change order to the Lyman McDonald contract to do some modeling, essentially extend the modeling that they had done to just the northern offshore breakwater and fool around with the configuration. They have provided a report, and the report concludes, I'm just going to step back a little bit. The initial design of the northern offshore breakwater is a dog-leg configuration. It runs up about roughly 240 feet north and then 160 or so feet east. And they looked at that, and then they looked at the option of just running it up 400 plus feet north, and they found out that there was no difference in wave propagation into the harbor for either of those configurations. They did come to the conclusion that if we ran it up further north, and went to a total of 735 feet, that it would have some impact on wave propagation, not much, 10 to 15%, but it was some. So we are ready to submit the permit application to the Army Corps of Engineers for the straight configuration for a maximum of 735 feet. We can build to whatever we want to build within it. That's a maximum. So we would structure the bid package with a base bid or 435, and then increments up to there. So council can choose whether to go ahead and award at the base bid level, or if the council felt it was value going further north, and to award one or multiple bid alternatives, assuming we had the money. One of the things, and Smitty will recall this, when we did the first two breakwater contracts, the bids are all over the lot. The low bids on the last two projects, we averaged, and these are a little bit shorter than 400-foot breakwaters. If you adjust for inflation, averaged about 700,000 with the engineering, about that range. But the other bids were crazy. I mean, they were 50% higher, 75% higher, double. And so we got one good bid. So we really don't know where this is going to be. We're using the best guess, and we're hopeful that the bid will come in so that council could consider awarding additional actions if they chose. But it might not be in place. So that's where we are on this particular project.
Based on what I read, it appears that of the other three alternatives, 8 would be the best, which is extending this thing 300 feet.
Right.
And of the previous 5, 2 was the best, but that was way expensive because that was the 2
That was very expensive.
breakwaters. But 5 was also in there that had the interior breakwater.
Right.
But we had rough pricing for 1 through 5, and we don't have any pricing for 6 through 8. I'm assuming 8 would be cheaper than 5, or?
Well, we have pricing for 6. That's what's in the budget now. And alternative 7 is going to be priced the same as 6 because it just takes that dog leg and does that. So same amount of rock and everything. And alternative 8, we can do a projection. Again, my guess is if it comes in, pricing comes in similar to what we awarded for a 400-foot breakwater. To go to a full 735 feet, you're probably talking $1 million to $1.4 million in that range. It's not cheap. But we'll have to see what the bids come back in. But back to your point about the inshore one, yes, he had pricing in his report for that. And it turns out that once that was very preliminary pricing, it turns out once he got into it and started talking contracts and everything, that he was about 50% off. It's a good $1 million project. It doesn't really have any effect for the northwest winds. It primarily is effective against the southwest swells.
Well, I mean, the North Breakwater appears to have better effect on the northwest than the southwest also.
Yeah, and that's what council purpose to do is if you recall in the modeling effort, the incidence of long period waves is much greater in, I'll call it the off-season, by several factors. And in the summer, the southwest swell can make the docks uncomfortable, but it happens much less frequently than the northwest problem. And that's what's causing the damage to the docks in the winter conditions. So council decided let's concentrate on the northern breakwater to stop that damage to the docks.
But I don't think you can compare 6, 7, or 8 with 1 through 5. 1 through 5 is a combination of breakwaters, where 6, 7, 8 is just proceeding with the northern one and giving you a price
The
difference.
results can be compared because they use the same model.
Well, you can, to the extent that you, they did something like 238 wind conditions. And if you take, you try to compare all the results if you focus on northwest and southwest, and just those components that combat those particular directions. But you're right, you can't
Right.
generalize.
So, yeah, for what I'm looking for is 6 or 7 or 8 will determine which direction we're taking on the northern.
Right.
And then we'll come back and decide what is the next breakwater location.
Well, the next one would be the one to the south, that's the fifth, and the dog lake configuration most likely continues to make sense there, because if you look at the geography there, where the breakwaters are, the gap on the south side between the land and where the breakwater would end is about twice the gap on the north side, because we have the jetty that comes out there. So, the issue there from the southwest is you've got a big gap that has to be closed. So that was the idea of doing
But as we talked the last time, really the difference in pricing for the inland one has to be factored into your cost tables and results, right? That's what I'm saying needs to be updated with the latest figures, and then you can select where we go next.
Well, keep in mind, we're gonna do the J. That's a big problem.
Yeah.
Permit's good for 10 years, right?
Permits good for 10 years, yes.
So, I mean, realistically, once it's permitted, we got 10 years. Figure out what we're going to go. Next, I think, it kind of makes sense to keep straight on the north side. It does make sense because we don't really know what's going on with Bay Shore. And as we looked at it yesterday, if you extended out the extra 300 feet, it kind of changes the angle a little bit of where it's actually hitting Bay Shore concrete. And, it's not up to us. It can be developer. They may want to put the extra 300 feet in at some other time, or whatever, to protect their own properties.
Yeah, Smitty makes a great point. I mean, that's exactly right. If you look at where the angle, from the northwest where it hits, under the 400-foot option, it penetrates much further east on the Bay Shore concrete property. And then the further north you go with it, that angle swings west and almost comes to the tip like Bay Shore. So that certainly could be an option of whatever occurs there, particularly if it's not heavy industrial. They don't care too much if you've got big steel barges sitting out there, but if it's not heavy industrial, that might be something that the council can get a profit on for changing the zoning of that particular property and having them add some rock.
The third breakwater that was constructed also raised the level of the other two, right?
That's correct.
And that same construction contract.
Correct. The original design was 7 feet above mean low water, and due to budget constraints, the first two were built to 5. And then the second contract, we built the third to 7, and we raised the first two to 7.
And if, for any strange chance that this comes in under budget, it leaves council with options to extend it, not spend it, or maybe add rocks to the existing jetty.
That's correct. Yeah. We'd have to get that permitted too, of course. Or we just ask somebody to do it.
Anybody have any other questions? Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. Sure. Item 6C, water and sewer connection charges payment plans.
Yep.
discussed having text amendments to set payment plans, which would limit the number, which could be administered by staff, which would be one way to reduce the number of applicants coming in and out asking for payment plans for their own individual development. This was discussed at a work session in August 9th. Staff presented some options. Council reviewed those options and agreed to move forward. Those text amendments are presented here tonight. They couldn't be added to the consent agenda because they require a roll call vote to amend the ordinance. The town code.
Motion?
I move that we approve ordinance 201-809-20.
Second?
Second.
I move for the adoption of ordinance 201-809-20, authorizing water and sewer connection charges payment plans as noticed and full reading of the resolution. Roll call vote.
Grossman, yes.
Brandon, yes.
Bennett, yes.
Holloway, yes.
Buckles, yes.
Let it be known as unanimous vote. Item 7A, new business. Union Bank credit line renewal.
Mr. Mayor, this is the renewal for a line of credit to the maximum level of $1.5 million, $500,000 from Union, formerly Zenith Bank. This is done annually. To this point, the town has never needed to tap that line of credit.
Get a motion?
I move that we accept resolution 201-809-20.
Second.
I move for the adoption of resolution 201-809-20, authorizing the renewal of the line of credit with Union Bank as noticed in October reading of the resolution. Roll call vote.
Grossman, yes.
Brandon, yes.
Bennett, yes.
Holloway, yes.
Buckles, yes.
Let it be known as unanimous.
And the resolution or ordinance number, I think is the same as the previous one.
It is the same number, one's an ordinance, one's a resolution.
Gotcha, thank you.
Item 7C, raft up.
You skipped B.
Oh, wait. Sorry. I do this from time to time, everybody bear with me. 7B, appointment of the planning commission representative to the Harbor Area Review Board.
Mr. Mayor, by Providence Town zoning ordinance, there are two representatives of the planning commission to the Harbor Area Review Board. One of those is currently seated, Keith Kostick. There was another vacancy on the from the planning commission to the Harbor Area Review Board. At the September planning commission meeting, that was discussed, and Commissioner Diane D'Amico agreed to serve as the planning commission representative to the Harbor. Her name was put forth by the planning commission.
I have a motion to appoint Ms. Diane D'Amico to the Harbor Area Review Board as the planning commission representative. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now item 7C. Raft update.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, this is an update report on the raft project that the town started in June of last year. It's a project that first phase pilot year is wrapping up, so the town's relationship with the raft is formally coming to a conclusion. The staff report in the background gives a little bit of a narrative of what transpired over those last 15 months as a narrative. The item specifics list a number of accomplishments that were projects that were undertaken, and accomplishment of the raft, both the raft academic team and also the ad hoc committee and town staff. It's extensive. I'm happy to answer any questions about any of them. Most of the specific items have also got a link that connects you to the town website or the appropriate outside agency's website. The recommendation at this point is that there is no need for action. This is an informational update, but moving forward, approaches to resilience planning and management will involve review of and advisory roles of the boards and commissions. A review and update of the 2016 comprehensive plan is the most immediate of these functions. Overtime ordinance amendments and necessary expenditures of public money will be presented to council after for legislative action after an appropriate public process. So I'm happy to answer any questions about the grant. Most of these documents are listed on the town website and under the town planner or planning department. So.
Anybody have any questions for Larry?
Yeah, just a comment I'll offer is I've got this on my long-term strategy list to bring this ad hoc group into the purview of town council approval as an official body. So not to be discussed now, but I'm saying that's where I see this going. This group has done some very good work, and I'd like to formalize it under a structure of town council.
I agree, especially after the comments made tonight, just in follow-up, I think there's a good momentum in that group to move forward, and we need to make it officially our observations and actions.
Thank you, Larry. 7D, it's a new one, it's an action item. But for, basically we heard Mr. Smith's comments tonight. I think it's a good project for a couple $1,000, you know, 100% match on the grant. I think it's good, so I'm going to wait for council to vote on authorizing the town manager to send a letter or something, whatever's needed to get that ball rolling. So moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you all. 8, town manager's comments.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, just have a few items by way of update, and introduce the residents and others out there. On behalf of the staff, I'd like to thank the residents and business owners for their cooperation on the recent hurricane storm event, as far as picking up sandbags and securing their properties and boats. So we appreciate that. Also thank our media, public media out there. So the newspaper, the Mirror, and Athens all cooperated with the town, getting our information out to their respective readership. So appreciates that. We've got a letter attesting to the preliminary approval of our application to lower our community rating system from a Class 9 to a Class 8. Town in the review process achieved the sufficient number of points to have the community rating system number lowered. This is one of those instances where you want a lower number, not a higher one. So Class 8 would result in a 10% savings on flood insurance for those participating in the flood insurance program. Right now, it's preliminarily approved. The final approval will be coming forthwith, but the effective date of the rating will not be until May 1 of 2019. So that was good news as well, and that was as a result of 2 or 3 years' good work by Mr. Jeff Brady. So staff appreciates his effort. Our next cycle for verification will be 2021. To date, we've received 14 applications for the town planner position. A number of those applications were very good. Some others were less than good. We've got 3 interviews scheduled with some pretty outstanding candidates scheduled in the afternoon of September 25th, which is next Tuesday. All 3 have got master's degrees in their respective disciplines, whether that's public administration or various aspects of planning, including environmental planning, and years of public sector experience. So we've got some good people. Hopefully one of them says yes. Next weekend, the green infrastructure and urban forestry students from UVA will be in town to work on a green infrastructure plan for Cape Charles. So I'll be kind of guiding them on Friday the 28th, and they'll report back at the end of the semester. They also plan another trip in early November. Weekly reports to town council are posted on the town manager page website. So anybody interested in the weekly report that goes to council, you can find it there. manager Twitter account at Cape Charles Town is up and active. So if anybody's interested in following the town on Twitter, that's how you can do it. Otherwise, that's my report.
Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions for Tom? Mayor and council comments, I'll save one for last. Mr. Grossman. Mr. Brown.
Last week, we had a planning commission joint meeting, I think on Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday, with town council, and we couldn't have a quorum. I mean, we have citizens planning for new businesses, and we couldn't get a quorum. It's embarrassing. I think every council member should put the town council meetings ahead of any committees or commissions that you're on. That's why. So the people have to wait another month before they get their approval.
Nothing.
I want to thank the town staff for a tremendous job preparing for this hurricane. I'll tell you, 12 years, 13 years that I've been here, it's probably the most information that I've seen sent out. Giving people information that we've been, looking to get out to them. I think it's been one of the better things we've done. So if you would, let the town staff know that they did a tremendous job.
A couple comments. In the consent agenda, we have appointed Larry Day Ray as our town manager. I think best decision we've made since we've been a council and newly elected officials. I am super excited. Just the amount of work that Larry did and his interim town manager status was amazing, to say the least. And look forward to working with Larry for at least a couple of years.
Permanent planner.
That's what I said. Good.
Yeah.
Plan's coming quick.
I would also like to touch base on the staff, what they did for the hurricane preparation. I was in on the initial meeting with the town manager and staff, and just step by step, each staff member. I was pretty impressed on what they were going to go out and do, and they already had a plan for each department, and they were just bringing it all to the table as one. And part of that plan was communication with residents and council members, but I'm also more impressed with the number of citizens that reached out to me via Facebook message or text message saying, we're not going anywhere, we have chainsaws if you need us, give us a call. At the end of the day, I know we like to rely on the county and the state for a lot of stuff, but if both of these roads get blocked off, we're on our own, and we need to help each other out as a town, and I think us as a town, as a whole, was ready to step up for that challenge with Bakery, Kaufman, parking for people that's in low-lying areas. We had good stuff, everybody just seemed to come together, and I'm very appreciative of that. So thank all the citizens and thank country, thank the staff very much. I appreciate it. And I'm thankful that it was spared. I'm thankful for the folks trying to do their stuff, but I'm glad it just weren't us. Yeah. That's about all I've got. Announcements. My office hours is 2 to 4 every Wednesday. I believe the Viking ship can make it. Should be tomorrow. The Viking ship, I'm not going to say it all, but we'll just go with rocking right now. We'll be in tomorrow. Posted on the Facebook page, it's out there. There's places where you can get tickets. And go visit this thing. This vessel is I believe, the world's largest Viking ship sailing in this time, right now. And so we're pretty gracious that it's coming to our harbor. A great job for Charlie for reaching out to them and getting to bring them here.
Question, is there going to be rape and pillage?
Uh,
I have Scandinavian blood in me because of my poor grandmother in Ireland.
You're safe, Chris.
October the 30th through the 2nd, I know I'll be away for VNL annual conference. I'm not sure who else is going.
Pamela and I will go.
October 4th, Town Council work session, 6:30. October the 8th, Town office is closed for Columbus Day. October the 18th, we have a Town Council regular meeting at 6:30. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.